My name is Angelika JAKIELA, and I am a human earth angel. I am a humanitarian. I am acting in the best interests of the health and safety and well-being of all children, all those in the womb, all humans, all living creatures, those in the womb, and nature. I am a human, a humanitarian, that is a victim of it all, that didn't deserve to suffer on this earth because the Pope and the world religious worship leaders, world leaders, and other humans of other job descriptions, health and safety boards, the employees of them, and others at the CDC, Center for Disease Control, World Health Organization, medical doctors, all different types of humans that worked in all different types of job descriptions failed to do their jobs for millions of years. In this video, I am speaking the truth. I am a humanitarian and speaking the truth according to God's laws. Inalienable, non-disrespectable laws. The laws are in place for proper reason and have to be abided by all. Order has to be maintained. In the springtime, a lot of humans have taken their children to the Holy First Communion for years. Humans of all nationalities in all languages went, mostly Roman Catholic, and the other ones that believe in the Christian, that is Christ respecting religions. The Pope, keep in mind, and priest, minister are the human representatives of God on earth. They have to be a good physical example in terms of maintaining their own proper brain and physical health. They have to be very educated in all fields, not only to provide spiritual guidance. They have been taught this in their lengthy studies. Out of respect of their own physical health, their physical temple, the brain and body, physicality that belongs to God, that loved them into existence, the holy grace of God, the Creator. They can only do their jobs if they care for and respect their own health, lives, safety, dignity, respect their mother that loved them and cared for them to be healthy in the womb for 9 long months, to be born into the world with proper health. They have to respect and think of respecting their parents, those that raised them, the educators, the religious educators that provided spiritual guidance, that raised them to respect their own health, taught them best they could, to respect their own physical health, to be clean-minded, have good morals, to respect the health and safety of themselves, and to be considerate of others about these matters. Once they have a healthy, well-rested physicality, then they can use their brain and talents, what they studied over 4 long year studies of in seminaries and other places, to respect God's loved humans, treat others with respect as they want to be treated with respect. The priests, ministers, and pope have to be kept up to date and do their job, as all humans in these times as well, but they are an example for, in each congregation, say 100 people, some 1,000. These humans looking up to them for good physical example, proper guidance as to what currently is going on in the world, that they have to be educated about current preventative measures to help prevent the spread of coronavirus, COVID-19, that is, variant and subvariant strains of it, so that it will die out in the world and won't be there anymore. And other viruses, bacteria in the world. They haven't done so for already many years. The coronavirus itself had stayed on Earth too long. The longer the virus stays on Earth, then it changes forms. It then has more symptoms associated with if a human catches it. It spreads further and travels faster from one human to another to an animal. There are no vaccines for the new different strains, variant strains, subvariant strains of coronavirus and other viruses currently going on in the world. The worldwide pandemics would not have resulted if the priests, ministers, popes, and those of all religions, Christ, respecting Christian religions, that is, did their number one job: to tell their loved humans, parishioners, what they are to be educated about up-to-date COVID preventative measures, to speak these to the parishioners every week in their holy masses, to be a good physical example, and speak as if Jesus speaking to them through the kindness and compassion of their own heart and soul, using their gifts, virtues, and talents of preaching, speaking to God's loved other humans, religious and not. To be educated, respectful of the physical health first, which is most important, that a human cannot heal, the brain and physicality. To tell God's loved humans to stay home and rest on Sundays, never go to church. Save your health. Don't get up when you're too tired on Sundays and past exhaustion already after a long school or work week. And don't go to church. Don't endanger your health and that of the lives of your children, of any human that's already disabled, suffering something they don't deserve according to God already. Someone that is old, that cannot fight off any virus, bacteria as easily. Children, keep in mind, who don't have well-developed immune systems, can barely fight off the common cold, which is also a virus. Different in every child. Even the cold sore is a viral infection when a human temperature drops too low. Requires high fever, and in order, that is, to kill it, the virus. that most children and humans got when too tired and went out in too cold temperatures to warm. It was the priest minister's job to care for their own health, lives, and safety, and to speak these words to the loved humans, parishioners, every Sunday to tell them to stay home, rest on Sunday when it is God's day of rest, not worship, care for your own physical health, be a good example for others, to the children, and to all other humans. Care for, respect your health above all. Be intelligent, think first. If it's too cold or warm to travel, stay home. You have to respect your health. You are judged by the heavens accordingly in all the time, in your what you think, in your mind, in your actions. Every human physicality, brain, mind, thoughts is judged all their lives by the heavens, by God, Jesus Christ even more, and Holy Spirit. If humans, how they act morally right, if they respect themselves, their physicality and health in all ways they best can, if they set a good example then for others and promote this to others, selflessly using their gifts, not forced to do. If these humans, how they, when they have children, to make sure to act in the best interest of their health and lives, that they want and would have a right to be respected, their physical health, brain and organs that they cannot heal, to inform the parents, to tell the children as well after when old enough, but to tell parents to stay home and rest on Sundays. If it is too cold and too warm, obviously respect your physical health and well-being and safety, and there's pandemics going on. Consider this information. Stay home, respect your own health, lives, and safety, prevent the spread to others, prevent pollution environment by not going to church in vehicles, using your hard-earned poor humans or money to pay for gas in vehicles that pollutes the environment, endangers human health and lives, leaves humans suffering with damaged brain and lungs, circulatory system, nervous system from the fumes. The air is polluted, there's acid rain, snow, harmful to human skin, physicalities, damages the nature that has a life that is valuable according to God. The nature is very important. The grass, trees, they take in CO2, humans breathe, and animals and other living creatures, and release oxygen for humans to breathe, and all living creatures and kids. Humans loved pets, birds, insects. These all have been harmed for years. This is the priest's, minister, and pope's big moral wrong that they have done on this earth, and they're the ones who state that they love God, praying to God, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit for years, in thought, mind, heart, and soul. But when they neglected to think of this first above all, to respect the health and lives of the humans themselves, to set a good example in these days, and kept up to date to look online about current pandemics going on and current preventative measures, research done, current vaccines to promote to their parishioners by speaking to them, merciful act, such as Jesus speaking to them, telling what they learned, took the time to care, to look throughout the week, to say in their holy masses what these preventative measures are, to tell them what worship places are closed, they're too cold, too warm to travel to, don't endanger your health and lives. I am speaking the truth of God from my own heart and soul. A merciful act as Jesus would do, speaking to you kind humans that belong to God. I don't want your health to fail. I am a priest, I am a minister, I am a Protestant minister, Presbyterian, Catholic, Anglican, Buddhist, Muslim, the Pope. I am the human representative of Holy Grace of God Himself on the earth, speaking truth of God's laws. Out of respect of you loved humans, to prevent your health from failing, what you cannot heal. In this video, the Holy First Communion is a choice of the child human to accept Jesus Christ. It is a Holy First Communion, a sacrament, a holy sacrament. These days, because of the pandemics and from now on, this is a blessing to be done at a distance, safe distance, from the priest, minister, pope. These individuals have to act in the best interest of the children, kids, the parents, other humans. Excuse me, something came up. To continue, the Holy Sacrament the Holy First Communion is a verbal blessing. It is mentioned from the thoughts, mind, heart, and soul spoken on the part of a priest, minister, the Pope, Archbishop, Bishop, Cardinal, mainly in the Roman Catholic faith, Catholic and other Christian religions, that is, Christ-respecting religions. These priests, minister, and pope have to care for and respect their own physical health, brain, body, respect God in these ways that love them into creation. Their brain, body, all organs, cells belong to God. They have to respect their health and lives, safety, well-being, COVID preventative measures, COVID-19 variant and subvariant strain preventative measures, be up to date with the current preventative measures of those and monkeypox, avian influenza virus, and any other, especially ones going on, the bacteria, virus, different microbes going on in the world that have been spread in the world. To be up to date with this information and consider it before practicing a holy sacrament. They have to be a good physical temple and example, educated and considerate of themselves in these ways and that of others. If the priest, minister, pope, and any other world worship religious leader is not willing to and not going to respect these, and to respect its mother that raised them and those that raised it, their physical health to maintain, and not to won't tell the child or humans, the parents, that the worship places are closed, that the bread wafer is not allowed to be produced anymore. It is a health and safety hazard. And everything else that they have to, then they cannot do their job, cannot make pay, and someone else has to be hired to do their job, to respect the health, lives, and dignity of not only themselves, the safety of themselves and others, potentially those that go to First Holy Communion in the springtime, approximately, at any time of the year. Mostly our children with not fully developed immune systems, still growing new organs. That have to be respected, their brain, physical health, lives, and well-being, by the human representative of God on earth, the priest, minister, pope, and other world worship religious leaders. To prevent their health from failing, to respect their rights, their freedom of choice, their children, their physical health, their lives, their God-given dignity, that is a valuable life in all ways, their brain, emotions, personality, mind, praying abilities to die, all their organs, physicality, their well-being, their life, their soul, in all ways their beliefs have to be respected by these priests, ministers, and pope, and kept in thought to consider this first. And this information I'm about to speak, which is their job, but they failed, almost all of them, trillions of priests, ministers, and pope, those in other Christian, Christ-respecting religions, to accomplish. That's why the worldwide pandemics resulted. The priests and ministers are educated. They even go through basic studies in elementary, high school, so they cannot say they don't know this basic information about respecting the basic health, about anatomy, physiology of a human. They have to respect this and consider this and on themselves and of others. To think, use what the information they learned. To think, in this video I'm specifically mentioning about the Holy First Communion Sacrament. The bread is the most major concern in this situation. The wafer, the host itself, is a food item that after produced, it is already breaking down, is not safe to internalize. It is not allowed to be produced anymore for the purpose of blessing, to be used for the purpose of a holy sacrament. ANGELIKA, JAKIELA, a humanitarian. Acting in the best interest of the health, safety, and lives of all humans, children, those in the womb, animals, low living creatures, and nature. And I have put a mandate in previous video already. I am a human earth angel as well, on the earth, with high authority in heaven on this earth above the Pope. Pope Francis, future popes, world worship all religious leaders. All humans of all job descriptions, all job titles. World Health Organization, CDC, Health Safety Board, individuals working in those boards, and others. They have all failed to act in the best interest of respecting their own physical health, safety, and well-being, especially in all times during these COVID times. And other pandemics have resulted because of this. They made pay and cannot do. 100 million people's lives were put in danger, suffered health concerns, mainly pertaining to COVID-19 respiratory ailments affected by different variant and subvariant strains that could have been prevented from being on Earth if they did their jobs. And the priests, ministers, and popes of all Christian, Christ-respecting religions. These I speak truth about God's laws. All humans religious or not know the laws, the basic bioethics laws, that is life-respecting laws in all proper ways. Health and Safety Board laws, that is to respect the health and safety of oneself and that of others. The priests, ministers, and pope have to be up to date and think of these laws. All world leaders, all world other religious worship leaders, especially when in these times they have a huge moral obligation because they know in their job description they have to set a good physical example under God. They have to practice and respect the holy God that exists in heaven, all his laws, the main bioethics, health, safety board laws, to respect the freedom of choice, rights, and dignity of all creation of themselves, and to respect that of the others. To be kept up to date and educated about these at all times. They are judged accordingly by the heavens their whole life, after they swear an oath to God when they choose to be employed as a priest, minister, pope, and all others in all job descriptions mentioned. They have to think and practice to respect not only these and promote these laws to God's loved humans that are online on their masses, 100 to 1,000 in each parish, in trillions in the world, in every language, in every country, mainly Roman Catholic, and other Christian Christ-respecting religions. They have to also practice holy fear of God, Jesus Christ, in these matters. They cannot disrespect their own health, lives, and safety and set a bad example for anyone else. If they disrespect this, they are sinning in on themselves and disrespecting not only God, their physicality, their mother who raised them, and others, their life, health, and setting a bad example for others they have no right to do to children, to other humans viewing them in holy masses. The Pope, all unholy worship sites, to keep in mind, are judged internally seriously by those in heaven. The holy fear of God and Jesus Christ even more, who cast the final judgment. They have no right to sin in themselves, and they cannot definitely sin against anyone else. In their job description, especially. If they do fail to do rather everything in their job description as a priest, minister, or pope, as human representative of God and His laws, Jesus Christ and Holy Spirit, respecting and practicing holy fear of knowing that if they don't do morally right and set a good example for the million trillion parishioners and humans, religious and not that view and world, they have serious judgment. And if don't rectify these on earth, after they die, it's still recording them, and are asked, you are going to enter hell? What did you do wrong? These priests, ministers, and pope, those in the World Health Organization, others, all in Christian religions, respecting worship leaders, evangelists, prophets too, archbishops, Roman Catholic especially, Catholic ones, bishops, cardinals, vicar generals, nuns, monks, Protestant Presbyterian ministers, those in the other Greek and Russian Orthodox, other Orthodox religions, Jewish, rabbis, Islamic, Muslim, world worship religious leaders, have made pay for years not being a good physical example in promoting preventative COVID and other measures, even out of respect of their own health and lives, to know they have their own germs, to keep their hands to themselves, never perform any physical religious worship practices. They have been judged. They act when really know about this and act and endanger the health and lives of parishioners. These love humans they had no right to do. When they disrespected these bioethics laws of one life respecting another, and disrespected the health safety board laws, endangered the health and safety, disrespected of other God's loved humans, religious and not, trillions in the world. Didn't stay up to date with current, that is, COVID-19 and variant, subvariant strain preventative measures, didn't always wear the mask, didn't then even stay 2 meters away from parishioners and close all worship places that were mandated closed according to the health safety boards on earth and in heaven have the same laws. They kept performing the holy sacraments in the past 4 years. They're educated enough to know in this Holy Communion to stop production. All priests, ministers, and pope have been mandated on earth by God, Jesus Christ. It is a severe punishment if you don't act accordingly immediately. The Holy Spirit, you have enough intelligence, reasoning ability to act, to do what your job is. Every priest, minister, pope, Francis, future popes, archbishops, bishops, cardinals, vicar generals, nuns, monks, evangelists, prophets, all other religious worship leaders in the world, of all Christian, that is Christian, respecting religions. You have to stop the production of this bread, the circle wafer, the host. Contact, you have the numbers, it is your job, and secretaries. Immediately to these companies, make sure they never produce this bread. It is never allowed to be purchased by a priest, minister, the Pope, or any world worship religious leader, any human, for the purpose of using for a holy sacrament of Holy First Communion, and cannot be given to humans after it it was purchased cannot be. It cannot be purchased for the use of being given from one human, God representative on earth, to another human in an inhumane worship religious place, such as churches, basilicas, cathedrals, synagogues, temples, anywhere in the world, even on holy sites, especially the First Communion, holy, then the Sunday Holy Masses was the main one where there's the bread wafer was given from one priest to another human less than 2 meters away. Spread any all types of germs, disgusting in on itself, from one human that had to respect its own health, lives, and dignity in the way stated, respect God, its physical temple, that is of loved by God into existence, the mother out of respect of those that raise it morally right, to think of themselves, to respect their own health, lives, and safety, be up to date with COVID measures, then to think of be considerate about the other human, the child that they were going to give this bread to in a holy sacrament of Holy First Communion, then to humans in holy masses on Sundays or Saturdays, other days of the week. The bread wafer itself is a food item to be respected and never produced. It then cannot be purchased using the money from the offerings of humans of each parish, because this bread itself is not individually packaged from a well sterilized facility. It was never individually packaged and even given to humans in a little wrapper for health safety purposes. It was purchased by priests, ministers, and popes for years, archbishops, others, in a package, all of them together, the little circle bread wafers, put in a little cup container, chalice, held by one human that had no respect for their own health and lives and safety, and that of the 100 to 2,000 parishioners in every Catholic church, Protestant, Presbyterian, depending on which ones practice this, use this bread, and others in the world for 100 million years, trillion people in every country. They did their job not thinking of their health, lives first, safety, and purchased these. They used the money from parishioners' offerings to purchase a bread not properly sterilized, individually packaged, to prevent spread of germs and virus, bacteria. Who knows where they got it from different countries and cities is definitely not allowed to be ordered. Because humans in different countries have different strains of different germs themselves. Viruses, bacteria, there are different species of animals in every country that they could have had a virus caught from, and cannot have any item shipped, especially a bread item, not properly individually packaged, sterilized properly, for the purpose of a priest or minister, human representative of God on earth and laws, to be given to a child on Holy First Communion. During the Holy First Communion, where a child, to remember, priests, ministers, and pope tell the children to stay home. The bread is not allowed to be produced. This bread, the wafer itself, is not holy. It is not the bread of life. The bread of life is a wording used in the faith, symbolic purposes. It was mentioned for, used as referring to Jesus Christ as the bread of life, having to do with him. The bread itself is a food item to be respected, not to have humans touching it, priests, ministers with hand sanitizers that have ethyl alcohol that don't kill all the virus, bacteria, germs to begin with, and then degrade this bread, break it down, not safe to be from one human hand, given to a child during the Holy First Communion. With germs even breathed, most viruses, bacteria, and germs from every priest, minister, or pope are breathed onto this bread. The whole chalice full of it, to 100 to 1,000 children during the First Holy Communion, has been done already for millions of years. In every country, with a bread produced in a facility not individually wrapped, spread germs from one human not respecting his health, life, and safety and that of children. He has no respect, this priest, minister, or pope, for that of himself and them God and others to think of and educate themselves to think first not to order this bread, not to bless it in the holy names of God, Jesus Christ, and Holy Spirit, a surface, particles made bread for the purpose and a food item that can't be disrespected in these ways, and have by one human negligent, not respecting his own health, life, safety, and that of others, and giving it to a child for them to ingest, put in the mouth viruses, bacteria, damaged bread, already degraded, affected wrongly by the hand sanitizers, the ethyl alcohol. It is already been not individually wrapped from a properly sterilized facility, gotten already delivered, shipped from who knows what country or city, not stated, informed the priest minister to the child where it was from. They have a right to know, other humans at every age. Any food, remember humans, priests, ministers, all the children, other humans. The bread is a food item. You don't want to put a food item in your mouth that has germs from who knows what country it came from. You have to be intelligent too, to think of and respect your own health and life as well. The parents are morally obligated till the proper age to think of these things to help the children when they're not old enough to make these decisions and be educated yet about these matters. To make sure to, by the time a child is as well going to First Communion, maybe grade 1 or 2, and different ones at any age, have to tell the children to stay home and rest on Sundays, and never get this bread either on during any Holy Mass on Sunday, Saturday, or any other day of the week. The production has been mandated stopped in the entire world. There is no company on earth that can produce this bread, this circle bread wafer, ever again. It is May 2023. They have to, out of respect of health and safety board laws and bioethics laws, and out of COVID-19 variant and subvariant strains, as well preventative measures and other preventative measures to prevent the spread of any different current virus, bacteria, fungus, mold, microbes in the world from spreading from one loved human that has no right to spread to another human, to an animal, to those in the womb of humans and animals, insects, birds, and any other all in nature affected by the ones they're affected by potentially. These are considerations that the priest, minister, and pope and all humans have to think of. They have no right to sin against one life, including their own brain and physical health, dignity, the God that created them, their mother that raised them, the parents, the educators raised the child and took care of for 20 years. Children are still growing new cells, especially at this time. For the First Holy Communion, the priest, minister, and pope have to tell the children and parents, godparents, foster parents, educators, those in curriculums have to tell them to change the curriculums in all world the religious different types of religious schools and public schools, medical schools, inform professors, teachers at university college level of all types of schools, seminaries, nursing schools, colleges. This is a huge worldwide effort and it has to be accomplished immediately to respect the health and lives of those themselves, their well-being and safety, and that of others. To prevent the spread of any of viruses, that is COVID-19, variant strains, subvariant strains, any all other types of microbes in the world. So they will die out and everyone will be respected, healthy, and happy as they rightly deserve to be. Everyone will have their jobs, the stores will open, people will travel safely, and humans can return to their lives best they can. In schools, children can go and socialize safely at distances. For the purpose of this video, the First Holy Communion, a child has to be of proper physical health, their brain, mind, organs, soul, life, everything they have to consider to be healthy and choose. They have free will of choice given by God to accomplish this. These children have to act in the best interest of their own health to stay home, or where it's safe that they are, in order to receive the blessing, the Holy Sacrament of Holy First Communion. They have to respect their physical temple, brain, body health. When they respect this and are a good example for others, then they're a temple for their pure soul. These gifts of the Holy Spirit, the virtues, when they are conscious and have to be taught by the priests, ministers, pope, and other educators and parents, then when they choose and respect the preventative measures of COVID and other virus and microbe things going on in the world, when they choose, they are a proper physical temple then for their soul and respectful of themselves in all ways and of others. Then they can choose to accept the blessing of the Holy Sacrament, can accept the Holy Sacrament itself, a verbal statement blessing that a caring minister, priest, pope speaks and tells and asks a child if they choose to accept this sacrament, this belief of respecting Jesus Christ, that they know who suffered what no human should suffer on earth, didn't deserve, suffered, died on the third day, then rose, went to heaven with more holy powers, knowing that they have to act in best interest of their physical body health, life, brain, mind, soul, be a good example for others, kept up to date with preventative COVID measures and other things. And then when they have the free will of choice to accept this belief of Jesus Christ, of knowing who he is in their own heart, mind, and soul, to consciously think of respecting of his respect of his Father's ways, the main laws of respecting their own clean-minded ways, God's ways, be morally right, practice clean-minded etiquette best they can, do this and be a good example for others, to respect their own health and life and that safety of others, dignity, their rights, their choices, of them, of animals, other living creatures, insects, and nature. When respectful to know, informed be that they're judged accordingly by the heavens in their thoughts, mind, soul, and actions. If they do something morally wrong in themselves, they are judged accordingly by God, Jesus Christ even more, the Holy Spirit. This stays recorded in them their whole life. If they don't do anything to rectify this, to better their health, to rectify what they did wrong to someone else as well, apologize and the other human forgives them, and they don't seek forgiveness from God or Jesus, Holy Spirit, it stays recorded in them their whole life till they die. Then they are asked before they go to hell, what did you do wrong? That you you knew not to do, but you did. You sin against, disrespected your brain physicality somehow. You did something wrong to someone else you knew not to. You have been judged by God. You did nothing on earth to rectify this. With God, Jesus, even more. No one has a right to do anything to do wrong to their physicality, to set a wrong example to others by not wearing a mask when they know they're there, by not staying 2 meters away, not practicing pro-COVID preventative measures when they know. If they set a wrong example some way, they are judged and then they have their just punishment. The judgment final is mostly of Jesus Christ, out of respect of humans themselves, to respect their health, brain, mind, physicality in all ways, and others. If they disrespect this somehow, the child has to be morally right, educated about this, to accept these beliefs, and can only accept the blessing, the Holy Sacrament. This is a verbal blessing. This information spoken from a considerate priest, minister, and pope to a child. A blessing of a child that chooses to accept what Jesus went through, suffered, died, and went to heaven. No, he has more holy powers and has to be respected in all ways. To respect their health in all ways stated, and that of others, their dignity, a valuable life, their rights, their choices. To be morally right and of clean mind. If they disrespect this no, then they cannot accept Jesus in heart, soul. They have to be asked if they respect and practice holy fear of Jesus. That is, knowing if they do morally right, they have to practice holy fear of Jesus, knowing that they just stated that they will be punished if they don't act accordingly, to respect their own health, lives, and safety in all ways, and that of others. Beliefs, clean-minded ways. If they don't speak politely to someone, if they don't act intelligently, only speak when needed to someone, if they don't act in a proper, morally right way, then they cannot accept this blessing, this holy sacrament, Jesus Christ in heart and soul. This as Jesus Christ, this Savior. This bread itself was produced, unknowing who started this, is a surface in itself, not holy. A food item to be respected as a food item, those that exist to be put in a food bin, proper food compost method of putting it properly, done something with it out of respect of it. But it cannot be consumed, cannot be given from one human that is not respecting their own health, lives, and dignity and safety, and not being considerate, these priests, ministers, pope, of the health potential, the effects of a virus germ spread of bread on this bread to another child. To one child, another loved God's human. To the parents, others near it. During Holy Masses, after First Holy Communion, on Saturdays, Sundays, any other daily Holy Masses, these have been given out for years. That's what but the humans neglected to think of what was happening, to respect first their health, lives, and safety, and that of others, that they have to do. Because no one has the right to sin against another life, to endanger their health and safety by getting this bread and internalizing it. Germs, virus from one human that has no respect for the health and lives of a child, another parishioner, and his job is to do this, to respect, be educated, and promote God's laws, life-respecting laws, bioethics laws, health and safety board laws, COVID preventative measures. Be up to date, look online every day. WHO site, World Health Organization, make sure they're accurate. CDC, Center for Disease Control, these are the main websites in the world that 102 trillion people look up every day for the most up-to-date information about what is going on according to and are having to do with COVID-19 and other different variant strains of it, subvariant changed forms of it that have no vaccines for, no cures. What are the best masks to wear that keep in mind prevention of this from spreading from one human to another? These masks only limit the spread, the amount that the material is made, percentage, to prevent the virus from going through that material of the mask. It still could be breathed even other germs, virus on the side of the mask, to the bread surface, to other sacramentals. Holy water is not holy, it's the water where germs, short version, dumbed down, easy version to understand where germs are. Virus spread from one to another, no longer produced, allowed. Holy oil as well. The oil itself is not holy. These are to be respected themselves, the water on earth, the oil, but not produced and is not obviously produced in properly sanitized places. The ones that were used for the sacraments were given by a negligent human, not thinking or acting in human, but not in, can't, by law, under God, and cannot make pay from taking these oil and putting on foreheads to other humans during, say, holy confirmation. The water in baptism fountains not allowed to be purchased, produced, not allowed to use parishioners' money for the purpose of purchasing these items, the water, to be put in fountains or these little containers to bless anything such as Easter baskets, children, humans, animals, anything, nature, by the priests, ministers, popes, secretaries, and all Christian Christ respecting and other religions. The Pope, those in these job descriptions have to have and they have the contact numbers, act immediately to stop production of these items. They cannot be blessed in the holy name of God, grace of God the Father, Jesus Christ even more, and Holy Spirit. Any item, the item itself, bread in this matter, cannot be blessed that it has germs, viruses, bacteria on it that will harm the health and life of another loved God's creation, human. Humans that have children in the womb, to remember, all priests, ministers, pope, tell the parishioners, if a lady is pregnant, stay home. Never go to church, endanger health and life to go to church to get a bread that has germs on it, viruses, from one negligent priest that doesn't respect health and life and has to, of a woman that's pregnant. Even the germs, every human has different germs, different genetic makeup. A virus could have a common cold. Even a human with runny nose has a virus, different than a human other one would have. These are very tiny microscopic viruses, particles breathed from one to another that human might just inhale and become ill. Women that are pregnant have to stay home, act in the best interest of their infant, and stay away from, especially during pandemic times, all worship places. The churches are closed, even if pandemics are gone, out of common sense respect of one human held life for another. To prevent pollution, a child and humans the parents to think of, never go to church, stay home and rest. For the purpose of holy sacraments, these are verbal blessings, verbal beliefs stated by a priest, minister, pope. Protestant Presbyterian minister, a worship leader individual that is speaking from heart, mind, and soul, a blessing and a belief that is on holy side, which is pertaining to those in heaven, on the right side, has to be healthy, respectful of the hell lives of themselves, and considerate of others as stated, to speak this in the first place. If the priest is not closing the worship doors and can't, by laws on earth in heaven, if he purchased a bread wafer and gonna offer to a child, he is not acting in God's best interest and the health safety of the child, the parents, other parishioners cannot make pay, can easily be fired, and as a right, humans have rights to fire this human immediately. To prevent other human health and lives from failing, humans will be safer that way. This can peacefully be resolved. Most humans fear their pay and will do their job right and keep their pay. If they didn't do a right job, they have to rectify this with all humans on earth that they have disrespected in some ways couldn't, especially if they were aware of it, knew to not make this bread but kept buying it, gave it to parishioners, spread germs, viruses, and a worldwide pandemic resulted. Humans lost lives. There were trillions of people in long-term care facilities that couldn't go outside to prevent the spread of viruses, were already ill, became ill by some negligent staff, were isolated. Humans were crying alone, couldn't socialize with people for days, weeks to months at a time. Children did their part crying, couldn't socialize, play with other children, but did their part to prevent this virus from spreading and staying on Earth too long. And so it prevented from staying long on Earth to change forms. It mutated and stayed on the Earth too long. There are no vaccines for the changed forms of it. No cures. People are ill. Suffered 2 weeks and died because of these priests, ministers, popes of all religions. All holy sites have employed humans negligent, not respecting the health and safety of God's loved humans, especially in holy lands. Over 4 years, they have no right to do and have to be fired. The Pope himself didn't wear a mask. Almost 100 million times in 4 years seen on Earth when speaking to trillions of people. Millions of people were misinformed by him and didn't wear a mask, thinking that the virus or other ones were gone, or they don't have to wear a mask. The virus is spread to holy sites, to loved humans that love God, respected the health and cared, but were not informed by those the jobs were the human representatives of God on earth, the Pope, priests, and ministers of all religions, that did pray every day to God and Jesus and in the heart soul, but did nothing to physically first respect their health, the temple body that belongs to the holy loving grace of God, every cell. They didn't think of in the way stated to respect what is going on in the world, to educate themselves and tell the parishioners during Holy Mass, stay home. Sacraments are not in effect practiced physically, have to be 2 meters away, stay at home. The churches are closed. All holy site ground churches are closed unless for essential humans that are really in need of miracles, maybe one travel too, but not for the purpose of holy sacraments. Holy sacraments are verbal blessings, in essence. It takes the human safe at home, at a distance, can be given this blessing, belief, and educated about these matters by a priest, minister, pope that cares, over the phone or online. It is the choice of a human to care for their health then, when only care then, and respect COVID preventative and other measures. To stay home, 2 meters away from other humans, parents, during the sacrament, then can accept Jesus and his beliefs. and of those of God, and to consciously choose to respect Jesus in moral right ways, and to act as if Jesus did, to use their gifts when choose of the Spirit, when they're perfectly best healthy they can be. A good physical example for others as well, for other children, humans, animals, to respect and be respectful of nature, that is, to think first if it's too cold, too warm, stay home, care for your health, don't even get the common cold, runny nose, cold sore, chicken pox, bronchitis, care for your physical health, brain, body organs that belong to God. It is too cold, too warm to travel to any church, never worth endangering the health life of a child, any human on the earth ever, even if COVID is gone. The stairs there are too hard to walk up, when got there already too cold, too warm with no calories. Health hazard, not allowed to be practiced. To open the doors are too hard to open, huge doors in every church. Basilica, every building worship place in the world. Not worth traveling too cold, too warm temperatures to become ill. Then harm your physical temple, the children, adults, old people, disabled people, priests, ministers, popes of all religions, nuns, monks, prophets, monasteries. Think of your health, promote to children and all curriculums, schools, universities, professors, medical school staff, doctors, nurses, World Health Organization, CDC, Center for Disease Control, Health Safety Board members in all countries, in all parts of the world, world leaders. Respect your health, lives, and safety first. Never enter a church, any worship place. Don't travel to it, it's too cold, too warm to travel to. You will become ill. Even common cold requires a fever to fight it off. And a lot of rehydration of fluids, such as with electrolytes, maybe from Gatorade, proper nutritious food, water, to a human physicality that has to be healthy in order to accept Jesus in the first place, and his beliefs to respect their health and never to sin against their own health. They respect Jesus this way too. If humans stay home and rest on Sundays, they respect their health and Jesus this way. That's what the children have to know or be told as well by the priest, minister, and pope, and all, especially Catholic, Roman Catholic, any all Christian, Christ respecting religions that deal with his holy first communion sacrament. And these are the same things applied to the other holy sacraments. Holy baptism, don't use and produce and don't use the money from parishioners to purchase water for holy water. The water will have spread from one non-caring human to a child that doesn't have a fully developed immune system, germs, bacteria breathe on a baby, and parents standing less than 2 meters away not allowed even with masks. A baby's health and life is most important. No one has the right, priest, minister especially, and cannot make pay if they disrespect their health and life and bless them with holy water. The water is not holy. Out of respect of the water itself, too, it is water. Humans need water. Keep it in a place produced for purpose of human to internalize where it's sterilized, not to be put on the hands at the entrance exits of churches, or that spread germs from one human dirty hand to another. Baptism blessing baskets not allowed to bless anything altars to waste water. To have germs on it, this is very important as well. According to God, and every human has to respect on earth as they know, especially the priests, minister, pope, all of them in world, all world worship religious leaders. To tell this to the boards, health safety boards, to be kept up to date with this information, put it in the curriculums. Tell the trustees, those that make curriculums in Catholic schools, there are trillions in Ontario, Canada alone. These are in every country have to be translated, this information, and told what they're supposed to be already up to date and thinking of first. to respect the health and lives of humans, to think of the surfaces and religious worship practices that were used, sacramentals, to respect the surfaces, to use them what they're for, and never to purchase them when they're going to have one human not caring and put germs, virus, breed on from one given to another to make someone else ill. Humans cannot heal themselves from anything. The holy sacraments are anything termed holy is very important, pertains to the holy in heaven, pertains to the holy grace of God Himself. This holy grace, the loving grace, is holy. If a human doesn't respect holy God's laws, religious or not, on the earth, they are judged accordingly. They have to act according to God's laws. The same laws apply on earth everywhere in the universe. These are all serious laws in court. These are truth spoken words. These are serious matters known by all lawyers, doctors, priests, ministers, world leaders, popes. All in education systems employed, all humans of all job descriptions, and all humans know these basic laws I stated apply on earth, have a serious value, can be used in court, have a serious meaning. Every human has a valuable life on this earth, religious or not, irrespective of gender, nationality. Every human has a right to be respected, their brain, physical health, their mind, their beliefs, clean-minded etiquette, morals, their brain, physical health, all organs, cells, their dignity of God. This dignity is a very serious term used, and all lawyers know, and all humans too, and under God. Dignity of a valuable life, that is. All brain, mind, organs, personality, emotion, soul of a human physicality that belongs to God cannot be disrespected, sinned against in any way by anyone else, and including themselves, are judged all the time internally by the heavens. No one gets away with anything. So everyone, to get a sacrament now, it is the most time. There's our Mary and Holy Mary devotions. The worship places are mandated closed, some illegally open by negligent ministers, priests, popes, not doing their job to respect their own health and lives, God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit, Holy Mary, and left the environment polluted by humans. To think first, to educate children as well about this before they get the sacrament. They have to be respectful of nature too and these things. They cannot accept anything blessing on the part of the holy pertaining to holy grace of God, God Himself, the Father, Jesus Christ, and Holy Spirit, unless they are pure possible of pure soul, clean mind, and respect their own physical health, their mother that raised them in the womb 9 months, holy God Himself, and there be a good example physically for others. They have to be taught this more about in the holy sacraments in the classes, more than told to accept Jesus and go to Sunday and get the bread every day and get germs. They weren't told that there are germs on it. The children had a right to know, would have stayed home, and humans of all ages been healthier, and no worldwide pandemics would have resulted. The COVID would have been contained, not spread from one loved human child thinking they're gonna get the bread, and every Sunday past they get the first Holy Communion. In the first Holy Communion alone, there were 100 children that the parents invested money to buy nice dresses for them and suits for the little boys, the girls the little white dresses, and went there and had their children didn't think of that they went too cold to warm temperatures, drove in the cars with gas, pollute the environment, harm the trees, everything in process couldn't, had to stay home and rest, could have got a blessing safe over the phone, The child could have been healthy at home, never got a cold on the way virus, damaged their temple of God, their physicality. The parents got ill on the way. Some chickenpox virus went to church, to the worship place, too cold, too warm to travel to, but went. And 100 children there spread on the water from one what they got on the way, colds. These germs from one hand in the holy water to the forehead absorbed in skin, on the clothing surface, no longer allowed to produce practice in the world, and then when sat in the pews too hard harmed their physical health, with a right to be informed not to do as well, but weren't by the caring parents that had to care, the priests, ministers, popes of all religions. Then after an hour of hearing readings and different things that they were too tired already, went and walked down the aisle with not enough calories, electrolytes, too, and had a negligent human priest that either didn't think of it but knew or didn't care, couldn't do, had to act as if God was standing there, Jesus Christ, act in his ways, to think of and respect the child's health and say, this bread I'm not gonna give you, this wafer has germs on it, coronavirus, mold is not individually packaged, I'm not gonna give it to you out of respect of your health and life. None of the priests ever thought of this for years, maybe one or two, but did nothing in the world to promote this. 100 million children like myself went dressed up, first Holy Communion, hands, rosaries in hand. No one told me not to put hands together to save my health. Wrists. Not allowed to be practiced a child to put hands together with the palms rather. It harms the wrists, overstretch the cells, and damage the heart. To go there and go to then walk there to get the bread of life. The Holy First Communion is no longer allowed the priest, minister, or pope, and other world worship religious leaders to mention these words. I am offering the bread of life to you. By harming their health, holding the sacrament, this not sacrament, rather the bread, with germs on it from who knows what country, didn't inform anyone else where it got it from, didn't care enough to stop production of it, purchased it with the offerings from the hard-earned other parishioners, had a right to know where this came from, never informed them, had used hand sanitizers or not on the hands, that already degraded or broke down this, damaged the bread, this food, disrespected the item itself, the bread, not individually sealed and given from one human breathing with a mask or not, most with no masks for years. Even on side of the mass breed not considered by these priests. Ministers, pope, trillions in the world, in every country, in every language. Took the bread in hand, disgusting, already sinning against themselves when you're not to especially judged by heaven severely in Jesus. Took this and offered to children, 100 in every mass, some 1,000. And this is to be prevented this year and future years by all priests, ministers, and popes, human representatives of God Himself on earth. His laws, life respecting of children, others' laws, themselves, their health and safety, and that of the children. These valuable lives have human rights, serious rights to be informed, to respect their health. They're already still young and have rights to have a caring minister, priest, pope to think of this, that they don't have well-developed immune systems. They don't deserve to have one priest take this bread, order it, use hard-earned money from poor people, parishioners, to pay for this bread that has been disrespected itself by this human, degraded, damaged with hand sanitizers, germs, and virus on it, and then give it in the name of Jesus Christ. Ask a child, are you going to accept this bread of life? In some churches, this is given from the hand straight onto the tongue, the bread wafer onto the tongue of a child. Disabled human, old people that cannot fight off any viruses. In simple terms, it is beyond disgusting As any human not educated, I use these terms so easy to understand to save their health and lives. It is a huge disrespect on the part of this human, is making pay made and sin against other lives, endangered the health and lives of children in Holy First Communion, offered in the name of Jesus Christ, the bread of life. The children have to consciously think of their health and first safety and always stated to stay home and never go there to and in order to accept anything having to do with Jesus Christ himself. But we're not informed of this for a trillion years. They had a right to know their health and lives of children in Holy First Communion alone would have been saved trillions for years if the priests did their jobs. If the ministers, Catholic priests, popes, Pope Benedict, previous popes, Pope John Paul II, Pope Francis currently, other popes, archbishops, trillions in the world, in every country, bishops, cardinals, vicar generals, Catholic school teachers, teachers of every religion in every school, high school, elementary school, university, professors, lecturers, trillions in the world, medical doctors, psychiatrists, nursing staff, registered nurses, practical nurses, those employed working in health safety boards themselves, hundreds in the world in every country. The world leaders, all of them educated, have a moral obligation and under God to have they hired the proper staff in every department to make sure everyone respected health and safety of themselves and others according to the laws. That they had to make sure everyone respected the bioethics, life, proper morals of respect of human life in every way, of humans, pregnant women, children, especially of those religious that devout love God the most, Jesus Christ that exists, and Holy Spirit. The World Health Organization that is employed there, the CDC, Center for Disease Control, and other boards like these and organizations all failed. These humans are educated beyond words, failed to think first out of respect of their own health, lives, and dignity what they're asked by employers to do. Their number one job to respect. Are you going to do your job to respect these and that of others? Their health, safety, well being, their choices, rights to be informed about health preventative measures to prevent COVID and other strains spreading. To think of with the health and how you want to be respected and safety. Are you going to do this in your job description and all job titles, especially the Pope, religious world leaders? If you're not, I'm not gonna give you pay and have people suffering when you don't do your job and their health fail. Their safety is disrespected, they're not safe, they're ill, more viruses spread, pandemics result. 100 million people made pay and trillions suffered. The mother raised them, they even funded their schools. These are competitive fields for these jobs, even priests. Catholic school teachers in Ontario, in other countries, in Canada, states, everywhere. Those that have the jobs neglected to do everything first to care for their own health and life and keep up to date with preventative measures of what's going on in the world, say, for example, COVID, to wear the mask, promote this to others, to think of human respecting one's health and safety and be a good example for others. That is the number one job of every human in every job description in the world. They cannot make pay if they don't respect these and respect others in this way. Trillions have made money, accomplished nothing to respect their own health and stay up to date with preventative measures, and trillions suffered. They had no right to sin against themselves, their mother that raised them in womb, God himself, their physicality are judged. Jesus Christ even more is judging them, are continuously on earth have been judged. The Holy Spirit. They had to be intelligent and study the things that other humans couldn't even get into those studies. And it were in competitive fields that even human apply for to get to become priests, doctors, the Pope, and humans would have done a better job in care but couldn't get in because those people were selected to study in that school to get the jobs. Other humans that care would have done a proper job and millions would not have suffered, but were not employed, didn't even get into those schools. So this is the true information on earth that no one has been saying for years anywhere, especially these priests. Ministers, popes, focusing on some words, maybe 1, 2 words about Jesus in the New Testament, didn't focus on respecting the health, safety, lives, well-being of them and children. Children have serious rights. Nothing can disrespect the health, lives, and safety and dignity of a child. The parents love them so much, remember, and priests tell them to remind them every Sunday. In your worship online holy masses, the holy pertains to holy loving grace of God. Think of your health, life, and safety, well-being. Be intelligent according to the Holy Spirit. You most likely already chose and accepted the gifts and are educated what they are of the Holy Spirit in holy confirmation. You chose to respect and then practice the holy fear of God, to respect his laws and ways and his Son Jesus Christ even more. Knowing you're judged if you do set a bad example for someone else you know right to do, you have serious punishment. To keep in mind, you have trillions of humans in this season. There's the Holy First Communion, Holy Confirmation, Holy Baptisms coming up. Most people go when it's warmer now, spring is summer now. Approximately, it is your job to respect your own health, lives, and safety. COVID preventative measures. Listen to this video, learn it inside out. This is your job. You failed to do it for years. 100 million people suffered, health failing because of you. You sinned against their lives, especially if you knew not to. Disrespect these God-made laws and health safety board laws, especially during COVID times. You have severe punishment in hell when you die. I am a human earth angel and live through different things on earth. These are all truth spoken words. I was a devout Catholic myself. I went to these churches and learned from different things throughout the years, what the sacraments are, and figured out after studying different health studies, life science of all kinds, virology, bacteriology, anatomy, physiology, that of humans, of animals, and nature. Christian Christ respecting studies. Put this information together, what's seen in the world, to think of what humans should think of about their health to maintain first, to prevent it from failing. Anything they learn, the priest has to mention Holy Mass to help human health from failing, so it doesn't health fail the brain, organ health fail first, what they cannot heal. To promote, God wants everyone to be physically healthy. Stay home where you are, where it's safe and warm, proper to your normal human body temperatures, for your brain body to function properly. Then you are a temple if you choose to worship God shortly in heart, soul. Never repeat anything because it's harmful to health. Don't make the sign of the cross, it harms the health too many ways, spreads germs to the forehead, body surface. Don't put the hands together in amen prayer position, especially the palms in front, harms the wrist veins, especially in children, old people, humans with hernias, heart conditions. Never required by God or any holy in heaven to make the sign of the cross. To put hands together in amen position, prayer position. Tell them never to kneel. Holy First Communion, a child has to be healthy and safe, informed about this, then they can accept the beliefs and respect Jesus Christ. Without the bread itself is not the bread of life. Then a child chooses to, when physically healthy, tell them to accept this and stay home. Can get a verbal blessing, maybe save document online these days versus a paper one mailed to prevent spread of germs, viruses, to prevent use of paper, to save the planet, which is very important. The children have a young life. If they live 100 years, they have the right to have a healthy planet with no landfill sites built up of useless garbage, pollution in the lake's water. They have a life to be respected, and this has to be promoted by the priests, ministers, Pope above all. The respect of health, life, and safety of themselves and dignity of a valuable life belonging to the holy loving grace of God. The infants, the kids, the animals, the pets have a brain, physicality, emotions, soul, personality, physical, the organs that belong to God is well judged. How humans treat them. Seeing eye dogs, pets, have loved pets, owners. They have the they have the kindest hearts of them all. The priests have to consider these ministers and popes. Tell the children to respect their physical health life, be educated, promote proper health well-being first, be a good example that way for others. To keep in mind, humans see other humans, animals, see what humans do. Children learn from seeing when young, what the parents do, what the priests do, the minister, pope. They learn what the priests and ministers keep their hands to themselves in a safe position. Don't put your hands together in front of a child in amen prayer position. Cover up the statues with these hands together. The rosary beads not allowed to be put in hands of children, especially during holy sacraments of Holy Communion. They are a surface for spread of germs and a means of is a health hazard. The beads themselves, when prayed Our Father, Hail Mary, never required to be repeated a belief, which is not a prayer. The Our Father and Hail Mary 50 times. This harms the child's health, this temple of God they have. They have to keep healthy as long as they can on earth, they cannot heal. There are many of these things I stated in this video. This is pertaining even just to the Holy Sacrament of First Holy Communion itself. It is a lot of information. Each is carefully selected by the words with meaning that I've seen and suffered through different things, was affected by an earth and as stated, put information together, caring what everyone had to do in all job titles, but failed. To prevent everyone's health life from failing, especially the young children. Remember, holy sacraments are verbal blessings in essence. It is the choice of a human that cares for respecting their health and others to set a good example and then acts to consciously choose to accept what the meaning of this holy sacrament or blessing is. The holy pertaining to the holy grace of loving God, Jesus Christ, in the Holy First Communion, then humans thought of after the first, so this term First Holy Communion, then is the next in the masses is no longer allowed to be given the bread there by priests, ministers, or anyone. Out of respect of the health, lives, and safety of themselves and others. Excuse me. So there are a lot of words mentioned in this video, but have a serious meaning. All of them affect human health and life of trillions, that is, of trillions of humans' health and life on this earth, of animals, nature, those in the womb. The insects have little infant eggs, birds have little infant eggs, all valuable lives monitored by the heavens have to be respected. living creatures, grass, nature to be respected, have a life in them. Water is an important resource on the earth, cannot be used to contaminate it, be for the purpose of holy water in churches, exits of any worship places, especially on holy grounds. They all are blessed in holy names. To spread each consider holy water has germs, simple terms, virus. To tell to humans, children, priests to avoid, don't buy, purchase it, don't give to anyone else, save your own health and life and that of others. Prevent this spread of this germ virus from one human love to another. They won't get ill, the virus germs will die out, there won't be any pandemics. Blessings if they did, or the holy water, not longer allowed for the sacrament, this bread. From one spread germs water ordered from who knows where. Priest to spread the germs from the water to the bread, whole container, chalice of it. There's 100 to 1,000 bread in one chalice every Sunday, given to priests from priests, ministers negligent. Some really thought of it, some didn't. I am not speaking on the part, I'm not mentioning this video with the intent of singling out priests, ministers, and pope and telling them off for things they didn't do. These are things that they had to think of in their job, but some they really care for humans, but were maybe not focusing on this first, but had to do. The health, safety, and welfare of themselves, all these things, their mother to respect, and the parents, how they raised them, their physicality. I was taught, learned these over years by different individuals and put this information together, knowing it to be true under God. Jesus respecting, Holy Spirit, intelligent, wise words, with a meaning from the heart and soul of a human being that live through things I don't want other humans to suffer, health failing in any way that I know they cannot heal. To even their souls for all humans to consider, these are very important words apply in all universe. To all humans, religious and not, had to be told and never really learned in schools. Some people, maybe saints or some years ago, focused more on these things years ago, but over the years, it has failed to be promoted and taught in schools by priests, ministers, and masses. A lot have not even told humans to stay home when it's cold. This is common sense in itself. The common cold is a virus. A human has to care for the health, a temple, to do anything, to use their gifts, to respect and get the sacraments, these holy blessings. Except what the holy sacraments are about. The holy first communion is to be done safely at home by any child, any human. Can the blessing be given even by priest minister to a child over the phone or online? Safely, making sure that the child is informed about what I stated by the priest or minister themselves, to COVID up-to-date measures, things to consider for them to stay home and stay where they are to be healthy. First, a proper physical temple of God, respecting his main life, respecting laws of themselves and others, the health and safety they have to respect of themselves and others, be a good example for others, considerate of others. Then they are the temple for their pure-hearted soul, can accept any beliefs, blessings, holy sacraments pertaining to the holy grace of God, that is God, Jesus Christ in this matter, the holy first communion. To be intelligent, use the gifts of the Holy Spirit, these virtues, selflessly without expecting anything in return, by free will of choice, not forced to do, to selflessly help others, to do merciful acts of kindness and compassion, to share these words as if Jesus would, to prevent or relieve the suffering of others in ways that God doesn't believe they deserve to suffer. They can only do this and accept Jesus and his beliefs and ways, and have to practice holy fear of Jesus, to respect him, that he was a man, suffered things that no human deserves to suffer, actually then died and went to heaven. He does exist in heaven with holy powers, and the whole universe is judged by him. While alive, the humans that are alive on earth, everywhere in the universe, all living creatures, all supernatural entities, have to respect him, care for the physical health, promote it properly to others, and COVID measures. Then the child accepts this, can only then accept Jesus. To then have to think morally to do right or wrong. They used to go to the church after on Sundays, mainly the Catholics, and get the bread, but thought first if they care for the health, and the kneeling spread the germs in the water when they entered. It was too cold. The health failed. To be informed to tell children, the priest ministers at Holy First Communion. To care for the health, stay home. Never endanger your physical health out of respect of God and Jesus. Never use the water there is not allowed produced at entrance to spread germs that you caught on the way to others. And never kneel there harming your knees. You're never required to physically kneel to harm your health, to pray to God or Jesus or anyone. Most humans prayed there in a church too hard on benches, harmed the health, not allowed to be done, weren't informed. Had a right to know and now have to be told this at the Holy Sacrament of Holy First Communion. At a safe distance by the priests, ministers, and popes of all religions affected that deal with this Holy First Communion. To the child, to the human at any age, dealing with this Holy Sacrament of First Communion. And to tell the parishioners too that already have gone to these and received the bread before and practice these harmful to health physical practices never required by God, Jesus, Holy Spirit ever to do to harm their health. And then to keep in mind after the first sacrament of Holy Communion, there was the bread given then. A child or some, the humans would kneel, didn't have to do, or sit. Think of on the hard pews, that is, sit, harming their physicality. Then think in the heart and soul after a long school work week if they did something wrong in their physical health terms, if they did something wrong to someone else, then if they didn't, then they go and in the heart soul go walk to get the bread. This wafer from one priest minister that can hand the bread germs to another, a child, a human. Sin against them, and they know in heart soul to think of this first, cannot offer this bread, germs to virus to a human to another. They are sinning against God, disrespecting his life and valuable life of themselves and the child, the other human parishioner, if they do and cannot do, by these bioethics laws and other respect of health safety board laws, on the earth legally binding and in heaven. The same laws. But these humans did, so to be aware, to tell children and put in all the schools, appropriate ones, seminaries, all levels of studies, elementary schools, high schools, universities. It takes a huge worldwide effort to accomplish, but a few phone calls, each one have the numbers. Priests, ministers to the schools. Some are in the same names named. The church parishes as the schools. Mostly everything is closed. They have the online phone numbers to the secretaries. When everything is mostly closed, parish worship places and schools during pandemic times. You have the numbers. It is your moral obligation under God to act. If you're not going to, turn your pay in, hire someone immediately who cares. To respect the health and lives and dignity, safety of 100 million children. Trillions in the world, that is. Pregnant women, those in the womb have a life. Old people, young people. The pandemic is not gone because you failed to do your jobs. You failed to tell children those about the holy sacraments. Most are taught to children at a young age. Their health failed for years, accepting the sacramentals, these objects, blessed in holy names, not allowed to be blessed in holy names, because they are disrespectful of human health. Have germs, viruses, hand sanitizer, different bacteria, dirt, particles, mold, fungus, who knows what, on it caught from one human, not respecting their health, lives, and God, Jesus. Not being intelligent as to the Holy Spirit ways in their heart, soul, they have to be considerate of their own health and life and safety and that of others. The priests, ministers, and popes of all world religions and the secretaries, they go along with this. They could think of this, did nothing. Most of them, medical staff, doctors, have to tell patients, don't get the bread. Don't call a priest to give you the sacrament. You don't need the bread, it has germs on it. You're already ill in some way. You don't deserve to become more ill. Getting a virus or bacteria from some negligent priest doesn't wear gloves and mask even might spread the germs. A coronavirus somewhere to you in a medical facility somewhere which already cannot enter to prevent the spread of the virus and other germs. There are a million other people with health concerns there. The doctors have to be up to date, kept up to thinking of these as well. They haven't all been doing in the world either. They swear an oath to God. Every human in every job title swear an oath to God. Religious or not, are judged if they tell the truth or not, if they're gonna do a proper job. Everything that they're trained in their job description that it entails for them to do. All of them apply to human respecting physical health, safety of that themselves, dignity, rights, choice of themselves and others. Some work with animals, some with humans, some with insects, some in research. World leaders have budgets to make sure everyone has enough shelter, food, water, safe. Children have foster parents if needed, orphans have safe place, have boards in place to monitor who hired them for the health and safety of others, to make sure the churches, schools are closed, eating places closed unless essential ones. Humans to stay 2 meters away, pandemics or not, it really needed. Out of respect of their own health and safety, not to spread germs, virus to one another, which they have no right to do. To sin against another life, to disrespect their health and safety. Sin against God, God's love creation, their own physicality, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit. So the Holy Communion, First Communion, I've spoken best what I know of what I went and learned about Holy First Communion and other things I put together. These are the main important things that all priests, ministers, and popes have to listen to. These are God's spoken words. These are spoken as if God Himself is talking to you. Jesus Christ, even more, a very serious matter. The Holy Spirit, the Holy Mary, the All Holy in heaven. All priests, ministers, popes, evangelists, prophets, archbishops, bishops, cardinals, vicar generals, all those in Greek, Russian Orthodox, Jewish rabbis, Buddhist, religious world leaders, Muslim, Islamic, Hindu, Anglican, if I didn't mention, Protestant, Presbyterian ministers, all have been devout in heart, soul, learning even to remember different prayers, to tell the children, especially you know which sacraments they are, be intelligent, speak only what is necessary, important to their life. Think of your health and first safety and COVID preventative other measures in your country, city, that apply. Think of the health and safety and welfare of the children first, the parents, the humans, that they might have pets, the nature to respect, not to have humans driving to a church too cold, polluting the environment, resulting in acid rain, no more clean water left on earth, damaged plants, human skin, stop the production of all sacramentals, save the hard-earned money of poor people. During pandemic times, almost everyone is poor, barely have a job. Some, even if have a job, don't have enough money to survive, even for food out of the elements. Not enough for shelter to feed the children and pets. It is the job of these priest ministers to really do their job and care. Holy Masses, a mercy info session. New Holy Caring Mass. Life of a caring human up to date in the ways I stated. Respect your own health and life. Promote these words to others. Tell children all humans stay home where it's safe. View online. Anything they pray in the heart soul is recorded by the heavens anywhere they are. Pray in a neutral position, sitting on a safe cushion, where it's safe and warm for their physical health to function properly. Hands on the side aligned with shoulders resting so they don't strain the heart and nervous system and burn calories that their poor cannot afford enough food to have in first place. Then they can accept any blessings, holy sacraments such as First Holy Communion, over the phone online if needed, and then over the phone if further need records be stated to the priest or secretary to write in the office or on somewhere online, put a resource. So if they choose on earth to have this for legal purpose of documents stating they had this holy sacrament, put online documentation or certificates if needed. Don't create paper ones to mail. Limit the amount of paper used in the world. Respect the planet. Respect humans can, if needed, print or have it online. Tell them save paper, online documents saved, and email of the sacrament that was performed. It is out of respect of one human, of nature, and of that of the child human to inform them of this too, in Holy First Communion and other holy sacraments, other holy blessings the priests, ministers, and Pope have to do. Then the human that accepts this has to act accordingly, believe in this. They cannot accept any holy blessing sacraments unless they act according to respecting their physical health and the ways of God, the nature, and these matters, the holy sacraments. They cannot disrespect the health and lives of anyone else. They have to act according to all preventative measures best they can. Be a good physical example for others. Stay home where it's safe. Never get the bread, any sacramental surface. Share this information. A selfless, merciful act. Promote for priest ministers. Tell to children at safe distance online. Mass tag, post. Put it on to the Pope. Put on Twitter every day till everyone has it fresh in their memory. TV shows, information, online resources. There's so much social media. Anyone can easily spew online and keep. If humans act now, we'll share this information to all and have it all rectified on Earth. Everyone will learn what they had a right to know, including children, in all schools from these priests, ministers, as if God is talking to Jesus, speaking a temple, speaking Jesus to his disciples, loved humans that God loved, the Holy Father, using his gifts, being intelligent, wise, educated, up to date with COVID preventive measures, other things, health tips parishioners can submit during the week to the priest ministers to tell them during holy masses. Health advice, promotion of preventative health failing measures, sacraments given at a safe distance, No laying of hands allowed. Humans, priests, popes, keep your hands to yourself. Respect your mother, those that raised you, your own health, lives, and God, and safety, dignity, and that of others. Be a good example to all the trillions, thousands in each mass, some 100. The Pope, trillions in the world tune in to view, see you as a good example, have to be physically healthy, promoting proper things I just stated, and then speaking intelligently, things to inform humans not to waste their time, their hard-earned internet money, their phone signal, any money they use for phones, not to waste their valuable time while they have one life on to live on Earth, which is also very important, especially of children. To be to the point, see something you care to put together to help their health, be proper, then mention things about the gifts they can use to help others, to prevent their health from failing, promote preventative COVID other measures safely to others online if needed. These simple acts to tell them to act as well, to share information to others at safe distances. Anything they think of can prevent a human health from failing. So then everyone will be healthy, happy, and live through the heaven on earth as they rightly deserve on earth, as they're supposed to be already. But the priests, ministers, and all others haven't done their jobs. So remember, First Holy Communion is a, a blessing sacrament that can be accepted safely, excuse me, by a child or anyone safe at home, where they're healthy, first respectful of their physical health, and a good example for others this way, and then can accept the meaning to accept, think of after the priest informed them about Jesus and his beliefs, to respect him, how he suffered, died, didn't deserve to suffer, that is, rather, and then died, went to heaven, and has to be respected, for them to morally do right in all proper ways. And it's their conscious choice in heart, brain, mind, soul to accept these beliefs and to respect Jesus by free will of choice, to morally never sin on earth in any way against their own health, set a good bad example for others, that is, to make sure that they abide by COVID preventative measures, social distancing, washing hands with soap when can, washing the virus down the drain. If they don't act according to these, they are not a physicality, brain, mind, organ, soul that is on Jesus' side. They have sinned in on themselves, not respecting God's physicality, their mother that raised them in the womb, cared for them, others, and they have disrespected not only God, Jesus Christ. No one has a right to sin on themselves, even to disrespect their health and in ways and not to practice preventative COVID measures and others that they know of. Because the preventative measures affect other lives. They prevent the spread of virus not only from themselves but to others, other lives that they have a right that is to be respected by others, to care for them so they don't spread the virus or germs to them that they cannot heal, to love pets, animals, nature. So during pandemic times and in future, there's many words that have to be taught and told to children by the priest in this movie video, rather. These are words spoken by humanitarian, a mandate on earth, a serious matter with a lot of information to take in, but priests and ministers, everyone knows what this means, has to be promoted and put in the proper curriculums of all schools, of all nationalities, translated proper true words by all secretaries in all parishes to help our Lord, all in all rather as well, dioceses, archdioceses, the Pope, the Vatican to act immediately, health boards, medical schools, all stated have to act accordingly. They have to respect the health lives of themselves and safety of others and preventative measures to respect as well. Out of respect of their own health lives and dignity that belongs to God and all trillions humans. To save whatever left of this health and lives of the God's loved humans, which is not much on earth. Passed during these pandemic times, of the animals, nature, those in womb. There are many orphans left without parents because of the lost parents due to pandemics and recent world natural disasters. Because humans didn't do their part, world leaders and religious worship leaders, priests, ministers, pope, still making pay, neglected to respect the health, lives, dignity, and safety of themselves and others, their number one job. So these true words can be used. Whoever can take this video information, put it to all the seminaries, all education facilities, first to the lecturers, professors, teachers, those in the Vatican, the Pope who has his phone number, please give to me. I love to speak to him, hasn't been accomplished for years. It is not easy to find any contact info to the Pope, and he's on social media every day. He doesn't have any real respect for any humans on this earth, as had to in all ways in his job description, and has failed to act according to bioethics, health safety board law promotion to other humans, has failed to wear the mask in every speech in past years and promoted misinformation to trillions of humans, also didn't wear the mask. He didn't close all holy worship sites for mass purposes, didn't limit and restrict all non-essential travel to holy sites to St. Peter's Square. 100 million to trillion people suffered coronavirus and different strains spread to other countries because he didn't do his job, and other world religious leaders, especially at the holy sites in Jerusalem, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, where Jesus' tomb is, others in Jerusalem, in other countries, in Częstochowa in Poland, where the shrine to the Holy Mary is, the Lourdes site, and two in Portugal, and other holy sites in the world. This is beyond disrespectful of all humans loved and honored. Have online every video recorded at these sites every day, praying useless rosary, repeating with no intent, not respectful of all humans and all the heavens. And sacraments and all were continued through human crying to see these when given to babies, when these people had viruses were being spread and priests then doing their job to care. So first Holy Communion, even a human can accept any in the world is their choice essentially to believe and respect Jesus, care for their health, and respect others. This doesn't even need a holy sacrament. I myself would eliminate this sacrament entirely. Angelica is human on earth, but it's human choice to still believe what the further blessings are. But this sacrament purpose of physical blessings on the part of a priest or this, I would eliminate entirely. Out of respect of the health, lives, and safety of millions, trillions of children, humans on earth, that affect the lives in turn of animals, love, pets, nature, and out of respect of the holy in heaven and the laws that are in place for proper reason. A human can accept any in the world is safer that way, even for a life of a child, and never have to go to mass, which a worship place is close to get a bread ever anyway either. It is their in heart soul safer to stay home on Sunday to think if they did morally right or wrong and anywhere any day of the week. Then to accept Jesus and his ways is more not wasteful of human time to tell a child to be a good when they're physically healthy rather, be a good example for others and use your gifts. When you're healthy, you have healthy muscles, brain organs, heart, then you can do a task, kind-hearted act, selfless by free of choice to help someone else. Open a door, mention something kind, post something nice to someone. Make sure to let them know you remember them so they're not alone. Those in other jobs to use their gifts, priests to promote, to use what they learned others couldn't, to put online information to help their health during holy masses before, that is, tell to the priests during the week. They will say this information on the mass holy to help the health, prevent it from failing of trillions of parishioners, to share this to other parishioners in other congregations. Nutrition tips, other medical advice, things humans learn that help others. A human's time is better valuable used for these than the purpose of holy sacraments. These are mentioned in heart, soul record, and human record to believe these by choice anywhere in the world, recorded by the heavens within them. There is no real need for holy sacraments, with definitely no sacramentals needed to be blessed that have germs, viruses on them. It is the job of the Pope, further, and other caring humans in the industry, priests, ministers, Pope, to further act, to think of what is essential to promote human health and life and safety, and to get rid of useless anything not beneficial to the health, life, and safety of a human. To further go in detail, to think of these holy sacraments, they know more than I do what they're about. To find what the useful words are, to tell humans to practice their physical health well-being, to be cared for and be a good example for others, like Jesus then used their gifts of spirit to help others. That is what is most important. No human will travel far distance to worship places, getting these sacraments with germs, sacramentals, these items on them. Everyone will be healthy, happy as God intended. Then they can live their healthy, happy lives. Jesus will be respected, no one sinning against anyone else, setting a wrong example, traveling to cold to warm temperatures, getting ill to get sacraments they don't need, are harmful to health. So everyone be intelligent, priests, ministers, popes, especially teachers of all religious schools, mainly Catholic ones, Roman Catholic, other Christian, Christ respecting, professors, lecturers in all types of schools like University of Toronto, Harvard, all of the most well-known in the world, and all the high schools. Everyone has to do their part. Every second, it is easy because you have the contact numbers. For me, I'm only one human. I'm not protected on Earth. I would have accomplished myself already in past years. I, human, was tortured alive on this earth before even making simple videos that I've seen in the world that the world leaders and popes failed to do on earth, and has been blocked online, all my videos, to restore the health, respect, and safety of one for another, and dignity in all fields, in all the Pope, world leaders, in all medical fields, pharmaceutical companies, priests, ministers. Essene was a victim of them all and chose to put this information together with my studies in life science, Christian studies. Chose to do medical research not protected on earth. Put this information together to prevent all human health lives from failing. For all humans to finally respect one another, to remind them what is most valuable, to respect those in heaven that exist, all their ways. One life to respect another life, to keep in mind. Humans see one, learn from another. One life affects another life. Viruses spread from one to another. If humans prevent it from spreading, they will die out and will be gone. So If anyone thinks of anything else useful, to think of health first. The priests, ministers, pope, even lay people, non-religious people are, keep in mind, for proper reasons, not religious. They can act, please act to tell these people to watch this video, the religious one. It affects their life and health too. These were kind-hearted people that, even like myself, went and got these sacraments and became ill, got germs, virus of all kinds for years. If I was informed, I would have stayed home, been healthier like trillions of children over the years. Never went to church at all, too cold to warm temperatures, would have stayed home when my cells were growing new cells as a child, till 20 years old. Been healthier and happier for years. Been healthier than can go to school, not miss a work week or school week because of chicken pox for 2 weeks. Very ill with high fevers, rashes. Didn't want to be contagious to others, had to stay home, missed school, like most children in the world. All Catholic, loving Jesus, loving God, had a right to be informed, to not go to First Communion to get the bread. This germ surface on this bread can't be disrespected. The water at the entrances, exits, these are all not allowed to be produced anymore. Out of respect of the health and lives and safety of all trillions of children, humans, everyone in the world, that affect their lives, then in turn the animals, to save their health, the nature not polluted. There is more cleaner water, air. Plants have more taken human CO2, release oxygen. That much longer the world is not polluted by those that love God the most. There's no production, germ spread of this bread. Money more of people, parishioners, is put into something to help someone else or use themselves to save it, not put towards purchasing, produce this bread with germs virus on it, water, oil, ashes, rosary beads, prayer cards, sacramentals, medallions. These surfaces themselves are never holy. It is what humans choose to believe, what the meaning is in heart, soul, about the holy in heaven, and how they treat their own physicality and health rather, a temple of God, loving holy grace of God in every cell of every human belongs to God. Every one of these words has a meaning too. The holy in heaven know this. There are supernatural entities on earth that know this and have to respect this meaning too. So, if everyone takes the time to be patient, this is a lot of information that had to be told, but take it one part at a time while rested. There are some functions on the side on YouTube where the video is for transcript purposes that humans might be able to. Most of the wording is correct according to the program that makes it, but as to what I stated, spoken, this video can be then printed out or saved in an email, all the actual words of it to be read if needed, that I speak in this video and other ones, can be then put together and put easier that way into someone can put together a study guide or some information piece to the school curriculums, those that make what the children study. The books have to be changed. There are different Sunday missals, books, trillions in the world in all countries have to be updated. After this mandate and previous ones on my ANGELIKA, JAKIELA, Earth Angel YouTube channel, what the priests, popes didn't do, other humans didn't do. So please act. It is humans with the contact info, the priests mainly are directed in schools. Humans, even others that in schools, the parents, the priests, that they know of these, the parents, that is, of the children. They have the numbers to the schools, can phone the trustees, put this video there, and follow up. Always make sure to take the time, if you can, to follow up that they did their job, because there's a lot of people that hear about something and don't act after and do anything about it. to be aware, and then humans think that it was done, but it's not. The curriculum is not changed. Children still learning harmful to all things about the sacrament that is not allowed to be practiced anymore. Only it is what the beliefs and these things that count in any human to accept and choose to believe. That what is most important. Remember, limit all physical actions of religious worship practices. Any items that were in sacraments, including the bread and on Sunday masses after First Holy Communion, never allowed to produced, sold, purchased, never allowed to be used, never allowed to be given from one priest, minister, in any religion, pope, to a child, to a human, especially disabled, old person, a human at any age. Out of respect of the health lives of themselves, dignity, and others, and out of respect of God, Jesus Christ, Holy Spirit, their laws, inalienable, that is non-disrespectable laws, that the whole universe has to abide by, out of respect of one for another. So this season, if human wants, the children were not forced to do, but parents taught and bought nice dresses for the girls for First Holy Communion, white ones usually, other ones, and then the suits for the little boys. This is to be kept in mind. It is not essential. This is, if a human is poor, it is what counts to keep to more from the heart and soul, to keep your children at home and tell them to stay home and rest. You will save their health and life, which is most important. For her First Holy Communion, to keep them at home, stay 2 meters away, respect their health and life this way. If they have a nice little dress, get them a darker one that's less problematic for their vision. And then if they for picture purposes or so, if you choose. But even remember, child's vision is very important. White is not that easy on human vision, is in fact very harmful to human vision. If a human and a child is growing new cells and has developing new brain and vision part of the brain, the eye tissues, the eyes, it is most important to consider their health, to never purchase a white dress for Holy First Communion, any white clothing, a white suit. Further, for others to consider for holy baptisms, other sacraments. Think of something that is more proper to human vision, your health. You will save your health, which is most important. Children, don't invest money in white dresses for children for First Holy Communion or any holy sacrament. They will be healthier after knowing that you cared enough to tell them to not be buying a white dress, a nicer, simple, darker dress that is less problematic to vision, and they will have healthier vision for life. I am mentioning these words from what I learned for as priests and ministers to tell humans to care for what hard-earned money they have left, especially during pandemic times, for their health and well-being and that of children and other humans at any age during these holy sacraments. To think of the health first, vision, consider the health well-being of anything purchased during for the purpose of use for a holy sacrament. If it's not essential, tell humans to save their hard-earned money for food, shelter, to help their health, which is most important. Children are not required to have fancy suits and little fancy dresses, white ones to have worn for the Holy Sacrament. Jesus wants every child To be healthy is holy grace of God created them and their mother, parents to respect this after they were in the womb. For 9 months, the mother cared so that their organs were grown properly, scanned their health, respect of their health, lives, dignity, and safety of a child, a life so valuable to God, the holy loving grace of God the Father. To tell children this, then to choose if sacraments to go to be safe at home and have a blessing given anywhere in the world. Safe away from priests, ministers, pope, definitely 2 meters away. Prevent spread of germs, viruses. Care for their own health, be a good example for others. Parents stay 2 meters away from children best can, preventing spread of germs, virus to them. Set a good example for children, they learn from you and will care for their health and then can accept in heart soul the ways of Jesus, respect him, and not sin on themselves, their own health, disrespect, and not disrespect the health and safety of others. Children can then, if told as well, safe 2 meters away from other children or online, tell this information from heart soul to others, say they are like human earth angels or speak like Jesus. When they're healthy, speak their words with their God-given voice, talent to tell others kindly, a mercy act, kind, compassionate act from the heart and soul, pure-hearted soul to tell others what they learned in the school, the other ones online. To tell them about these things to save their vision. They don't need fancy dresses, first communion, white ones, darker ones are better. They will have healthier vision. They can stay home healthy anywhere in the world. They don't have to go into cold to warm temperatures to a church to get the Holy Sacrament. To stay home, don't get germs. Keep your hands to yourself. Make sure the priest keeps his hands to himself, stays 2 meters away, makes the blessing over the phone online safer to child's health, to the parents' health, to think of others will be safe. The pet, if they have health, the pet will be happier to see the child is healthy. There will be no pollution. A child won't be gone into a vehicle with gas and hard-earned money the mother could use for food, parents for shelter, and instead of polluting, harming the grass, the air, polluting it, not enough air to breathe, the child's health failing, brain damage result, lungs health failing, nervous system damaged potentially for life from gas fumes, from vehicles. The water is polluted, acid rain burns the skin, resulted. If they stay home on sacrament and choose to accept this at home, safe somewhere, they save the planet, the health of the planet, the nature, the trees, the water. They have enough water for the future for them clean to drink. The water, then the rain will be proper water, not with acid rain, not harming their skin. The animals will be healthier, not affected by this rain, have enough trees that are healthy with no gas there, can take the breathe out air and release a clean air to the children and all humans, animals, nature. Forever to have clean air that much longer on the earth. One life of child physically to respect and tell others what it affects if they stay home for the sacraments and don't go to church. Don't get the bread with surface that spread germs to others. Be healthy, tell other children. They will save the health and lives of other children. Parents, teachers to tell them when safe, at distance, 2 meters away or online. In every country, translate to every language, remind humans, and then everyone will have this fresh in the memory and be healthier, happier for the rest of their lives. Have a clean planet. The world will be happy. The grass has a life, trees, birds, butterflies, insects. Everyone will be happy and healthy, seeing that the children are healthy and happy. Then they can play. They don't get sick, getting cold every time going to church to get the bread after the first Holy Communion, never required by God to do or Jesus. Holy Spirit, by anyone to go home, leave their home safe place to go into cold to warm temperatures to get help, to get a bread, water, spread germs at the entrance exit from one to another, to get this bread after thinking in heart soul to respect Jesus, their own health, and have a priest that is not respect their life, giving this bread with germs to another human sinning against them and against Jesus. If a child then has to be taught, rather told to never get this bread, then they respect their health, the lives of others see this. Children, the health of others, the germs will not spread. They won't get a germs virus from bread into their mouth. Well, they're thinking of respecting Jesus, that they didn't sin against him. It is not the bread of life. This bread itself, it has germs on it. Simply to remember viruses, don't buy it, don't sell it, no money can be made off production of after it's produced. The humans can't be employed to make this bread wafer. These are according to Health Safety Board laws. On earth, in effect in heaven, have been mandated already. In May, by ANGELIKA, JAKIELA, humanitarian. Real human earth angel with high authority in heaven on this earth, spoken acting in the best interest of the health and safety of all humans, those in womb, children, all animals, those in womb, all nature, and out of respect of all holy God the Father that exists, Jesus Christ, and Holy Spirit, and practicing respecting holy fear of all of them, and out of respect of their all laws. Bioethics, life respecting, morally best can write laws. Health Safety Board laws. Preventative microbe spread measures. Preventative COVID-19 spread measures. To promote and respect and to inform others to share this continuously to others, especially the human representatives of God on earth and his laws. Priests, ministers, popes, rabbis, nuns, monks, archbishops, bishops, cardinals of all religions, world leaders, WHO members, CDC members, Health Safety Board members in every country. Go to worship sites, see their health safety hazards entirely, too cold, too warm to travel to, close the doors. This is pandemic times, you are supposed to act and monitor to follow up on this, you haven't. Millions doors opened. Humans went to Holy Advent seasons, whole month, Lenten seasons, used surface, spread germs one to another, virus spread. Didn't die out, virus mutated, variant strains resulted with no vaccines and cures. You had no right to do this, you had a job serious to do on earth, under God and by law you failed. Trillions suffered, you are morally responsible for the health failing suffering of all COVID symptoms that they caught and other virus bacteria in the world. You have been judged accordingly by the heavens internally, to be aware. If you don't rectify these on earth and turn your pay in and hire someone who cares, you have severe punishment in hell awaiting you after you die. In human form, suffering any all humans you left affected not and misinformed, and they didn't follow up to close these worship doors of these worship places. You didn't stop production of this bread, water, oils for sacramental purposes, priests, ministers, and others when you knew not to. When you knew to do this but failed, you have severe punishment if you don't rectify these on earth. If you don't seek apologies from those you left wrong, you knew not to, affected by COVID and different things that you knew personally, but you still failed and to close the doors and still purchase these items, these sacramental items. Then you took the hand and gave these in sacraments and other things into the other humans in the churches. They became ill, ingested things that you were not allowed to give them as a human representative of God and His laws on earth. When you die, if you don't rectify this, you suffer any all that have just they have been harmed, resulted in affected by coronavirus. Some lost parents, suffered crying children, had no one to feed them. That is your punishment in hell. You will be a child left without parents, crying, with no one to feed you, starving and dying. You will have COVID symptoms for 2 weeks and die. All the humans that you left wrong, that you had an important job and study to do to respect on earth the laws in self-safety board job titles, priests, ministers, pope to make sure the doors closed, all holy sites, the pope and Vatican. You failed. If you don't rectify these on earth, and those that you left harmed apologize, and they have to forgive you, is their choice. If you don't turn in your pay for the years that the people left suffering on the earth, that you didn't do your job and someone else could have, and their lives been saved, you have severe punishment in hell. Of all those people suffering one after another of COVID symptoms is your punishment, potentially trillions. So you better do morally right and listen to this video and other previous ones and fix it all in the world. Stop production of the bread. Teach everyone to stay home. Keep your hands to yourself. Be healthy first. Promote this to others. Health and safety, COVID preventative measures. Other microbe preventative measures going on, be kept up to date, that is, in the world. Work together with parishioners. Collaborate throughout the week. And on the Holy Mass, only mention what is essential to keep humans up to date, what is going on in the world. Only mention certain blessings as needed, and tell humans to stay and accept them in their heart, soul, and you are safe in the world when they're physically healthy. A good physical temple example for others, then they can accept any holy blessings, any holy sacraments. Without the sacramental items and without traveling to harmful to health worship places. Please see the online merciful information session. It is in essence the new Holy Mass that is in effect since February 2023. ANGELIKA, JAKIELA, a human earth angel created on this earth, has to be already in effect, and all priests, ministers of all religions and non-religious welcome. The Pope had to already enforce this and to be practiced on earth. Hasn't done so. Please, whoever can, see these videos, protect them, put them on your site, give it to those I spoke. Please help me, I'm only one human. It is not safe for me to do. I do myself, I can only will do what I can. But everyone else that has the actual contact numbers, that is your job, do your job. You're making pay, so do your job. If you don't, I hire someone who will. They need the money to survive and will help trillion people love parishioners. Respect the health and lives as they right to be, those that love God the most. Jesus Christ, especially those that want the first Holy Communion, and the Holy Spirit. Holy Mary as well, and all holy in heaven. If you have any information or questions, please send me an email at a.jakiela@hotmail.com, my email. Please see the Earth Angel Help website I created with other information and links to videos that will help prevent the health failing of trillions of humans, kids, animals, and nature. And please act to share to others with tags, post to the world, translate whoever can, who has the resources to do this true information under God, and help a human earth angel on this earth. By you being an earth angel, a human one, that is, to be a good physical example, healthy for others, to use your gifts of the Spirit, of kindness and compassion, and do a merciful act, selflessly, without expecting anything in return or reward, to help others be happy, healthy, and so then they're not suffering, they're not alone. They know you, they have you there with them, for them. You cared enough to help them with information to prevent their health from failing, to stop their health from failing, to donate things to help them, to prevent their suffering, what they don't deserve to suffer according to God. Then they are healthier, happier. You transcended from your own heart and soul, heaven on earth, to a human that deserves it. A human earth angel yourself, accomplished a great feat more than the holy angels that have holy powers in heaven to do but failed for some reason on earth not doing.